FUMC has made a difference in our lives and brought us closer to God as a family. We've raised 4 children here in the church, and I think when we're all worshiping together and the Todds can take up 2 pews, which doesn't happen all the time anymore, but when everybody's back together and we can take up 1 or 2 pews, that's when you see everybody happy and laughing and enjoying worshiping here together. That's when I know we're in the right place.
One of the things that I remember being taught when I was growing up in this church was hearing about tithing. I left the church and I went to the Navy, and I spent 8 years in the Navy. During the time I was in the Navy, I got married, and then I got out of the Navy, and then I went to work for an airline, and I was getting paid half of what I was being paid in the Navy. And my wife and I were living in a little hotel on Long Island, and she was expecting what's his name here. We managed to live on that small salary, and at the end of the first year, I knew that my salary was going to double. So I spoke to my wife. I said, we're not really uncomfortable right now, and we're going to have a lot more money pretty soon. And I said, I've always wanted to tithe, and this would be an almost painless time to start. And she thought that was a very good idea. So from that point on, every paycheck, 10% came off for the church. And we never worried about money ever again after that. Even when I lost a job, even when she had to get a job, even when I had 2 boys in college and I didn't have work, we knew that somehow or other things were going to work out.
Giving back to the church has always been part of what our family has done from when I've been a young kid. Following the example of my mom and dad, it takes a lot to run a big church. And that takes support of not just the staff, but it takes support of the whole congregation. I donate a significant amount of my time to the church. And I think that's important, and I think it's needed.
By making such a big personal contribution, you tend to get more involved in what you've invested in. You look more carefully at what's happening to the church that you're making that contribution to. So it not only increased our financial support of our churches, but it also increased our commitment to what was to our churches.
The church has changed a lot over the years since I've been here, in terms of new buildings and technology, different programs maybe. But one thing that really hasn't changed are the people, and the people that we worship with and that we've made connections with. And that's one of the things that really is very important. And one of the things I hope to see is that the youth program at this church continues to be a cornerstone for these young boys and girls and men and women as they move past youth and become adults and working, that they'll remember that, and they'll be able to know how big of a part that was for their faith journey and their connection to God.